And welcome to Gig Masters, how to get and keep more gigs. On this episode, we're going to talk about tuners, instrument tuners. Now, I know what you're thinking, oh boy, not another guitar-oriented video. Yes, actually, tuners can be used on a variety of instruments. They make tuners for pretty much any instrument. Piano tuners, drum tuners, woodwind tuners, brass instrument tuners, guitar tuners, any stringed instrument tuner, vocal tuners. There's a multitude of different types of tuners. There's the oscilloscope. There are examples that I'll show you here. There are, for guitar players and other stringed instrument players, there are pedal board tuners. There are onboard tuners. On your instrument, a manufacturer may put in a tuner as part of the electronics of a guitar. Also, there are these little clip-on tuners, and oddly enough, the clip-on tuners are my favorites. They're cheap, they're small, they're very precise, and they seem to be more versatile. Anyway, without further ado, I will tell you that this video is not about how to use a tuner. We're going to assume that you already know how to use a tuner, but we are going to talk about the what, when, where, why, and who should use a tuner. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, let's start with who. Who should use a tuner? Well, anyone who plays a musical instrument or sings. They make tuners for a wide range of different instruments. Find the tuner that is right for you and your instrument. Next, what? What tuner? That's a good question. Find the tuner that is right for you and your instrument. And if you play guitar or other stringed instruments, you may want to use like we said in the intro, a pedal board tuner, an onboard tuner, or a clip-on tuner. The clip-on tuners work on a wide range of instruments: guitars, basses, banjos, cellos. I've even seen a guy use it to tune a piano, although I don't recommend that. It's probably not the best way to tune a piano. I don't know how to tune a piano, but I did watch a guy years ago use a tuning fork, but the guy had perfect pitch, which, by the way, is 1 out of 10,000 people have perfect pitch. I have what's called relative pitch. I do not have perfect pitch, but years ago I knew a guy that had perfect pitch, and his job full-time was tuning pianos and church organs. So find the tuner that works best for you. You may use more than one tuner on a gig. I often use 3 different tuners, or at least I have 3 different tuners at my disposal on my gigs, as I will show you here in this video. This is actually me setting up for a gig. Now, let's go to when. When should you tune? Okay, obviously you should tune before you start your gig, and get in the habit of tuning often, and tune throughout your entire gig. I've seen guys play for hours without checking their tune, and sometimes it works, but most of the time, it usually, by the end of the gig, things get pretty wonky by the end of the gig if you don't check your tune. Usually by the 3rd or 4th song. Anyway, it also depends on your instrument. For example, I have a Martin acoustic that, man, I can bang on that thing for hours, throw it in the case, and the next day show up at the gig and the thing is still in tune. But conversely, I have guitars that they go out of tune halfway through every song. It drives me bananas, but I generally get rid of those guitars or make adjustments so that they hold tune better. I play a lot of semi-hollow body guitars with floating bridges. I'm not going to go into that technical detail, but tuning can be an issue. And so I've learned to check my tuning often during a gig. And don't think that it's, let me say this, once you get in the habit of doing it, you can do it really fast. And you don't have a lot of dead air, so to speak, between songs. And I can generally tune a guitar in just a few seconds. Now, if you're playing with a band or other instruments in a group and singing, you should make sure you guys are all in tune. And it's a good idea to use the same tuner. Some tuners have a variance, but generally if you use the same manufacturer, the same tuner manufacturer, they're really close. But I'm a big proponent of if in a band setting, using the same tuner. Now they have these rack tuners that you see sometimes where the entire band can use the same tuner relatively easy. But that means you're running generally there's a sound man but we're geared for, I mean, this discussion is mostly for like solo performers or small venue gigs. If you have a small band or what have you, generally on those larger gigs you can use a rack tuner, and that way everybody's in tune. And then I don't want to go into auto tune. I don't want to go into that. That's a whole different thing. This brings us to why. Why should you tune often? Well, obviously, because it allows you to hear your relative pitch and prevent discordant tones and notes. It's that simple. Now, lastly, where? If you're in a practice space, a studio, or other relatively low volume environment, and you can hear your instrument, you can use a tune by ear method. If you have perfect pitch, you may not even need a tuner in the right environment. If you have relative pitch, then all you need is one note from a piano or another instrument that you think is in tune or that you want to tune with, and you can tune by ear. Use the tune by ear method. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You can Google that. You know what you can do? I'll leave a link in the comments below. There's a guy that I love watching. He'll tell you how to play guitar and make you a better musician. We're not about that on this channel. This channel is about the more of the non-musical parts of getting and keeping gigs. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but guys, the reason why I'm not doing a how to play guitar video is because, quite frankly, I'm not that good a guitar player. I'm not that good a singer, really. I work a lot. I can tell you that applying the fundamentals of what we're talking about and discussing on these videos on this channel are the reason why I have been able to not only survive but thrive as a live music performer. It's because I don't have a choice. I am a fundamental performer. I stay in the fundamental zone. Applying these techniques that I'm talking about in these videos has been the reason why I have thrived in this business. I have played with guys, and I've seen guys that are masterclass musicians who don't have a clue on how to get gigs. They don't know the gig etiquette. They don't know a lot of the fundamentals. And that's the advantage that I have. And that's the advantage that you're going to have if you just apply these fundamentals. You don't have to be the best musician in the world. I'm not. If you want to learn how to play guitar, go see Rick Beato or go see Tommy Emmanuel's channel. I'll leave links below. Those guys are incredible. They'll teach you how to play guitar. And there's 1,000 other guys on YouTube that will show you guitar tricks, teach you how to play guitar. You can learn how to play guitar on YouTube. But these things that we're talking about, you don't see a lot of these channels on YouTube showing you tips and tricks on how to survive and thrive on the gig. You just don't. That's why you're here watching me. All right, let's get back into the tuners discussion. Where were we? Okay, if you got a piano at your studio and you're in a quiet spot and you can tune by ear and you've got a good ear and you know how to tune by ear, or if you got a little tune, that's great. You can do that. But when you get on the gig and it's a loud room, as you're going to hear in this example coming up, you're not going to be able to tune by ear. All right, so where were we? The tuner is a fast way to tune in a loud environment. It's that easy. It's that simple. Get you a tuner. Now again, I'm going to show you some examples of my tuners. My acoustic guitar tuner setup, my electric guitar tuner setup, and I'm going to hope that these tips help you. A moment ago, I mentioned that, quite frankly, I'm not the best guitar player in the world. I'm not even the best guitar player in my local market. But I will tell you that I play twice as many gigs as the best guy in my market. And the reason why is because I apply these fundamentals. And if you'll do the same, you'll see a relative level of success. Now again, the disclaimer is some level of talent is required. And yes, I have some level of talent. I'm not Elvis. I'm not Michael Jackson. I'm not in that realm. I'm not world class. And that's why I'm in my little market. But I do very well in my little market, and you can too. I've had some guys in my bands. For example, my current bass player is Miro Tubic. He's got a PhD in music. I don't have one of those, but he's in my band. He's a lot better musician than I am. A lot better. He plays multiple instruments and very well, but he's in my band. I played with guys in my market who are much, much better musicians than I am, but they were in my band. A lot of them were in my band, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of the really good guys in this market were at one point either a fill-in in my band, they did a long stint in my band, or I've booked them to cover for me when I'm sick or when I just can't do gigs. By the way, speaking of which, not only do I book a ton of gigs for myself, but I book gigs, the gigs that I can't do, for other musicians. I call them to fill in for me, because a lot of times I'll get a call to do more gigs than I can do, so I call a fill-in. And a lot of those fill-ins are much, much better musicians than me. Where they fall short, though, is they forget or they never learned these simple fundamental tips. So, if you like this tip, If you look at the other videos on my channel and you like those tips as well, please subscribe. Leave a comment. Tick the thumbs up. Email me your advice if you have some, if you think I should cover something else. Email's in the description. And I hope that if you're beginning, you'll apply these simple fundamental tips. If you're performing already, if you're a seasoned performer and you want to get back to the fundamentals, I hope this series of videos in my channel will help you, and I hope that you'll visit often. I hope to do one of these a week, and thank you for visiting. Thank you for watching. If you're at this point in the video, I really thank you. Tune in. My name is Mooney. I'm the host of Gig Masters, and this channel is for how to get and keep more gigs. Now, let's get these gigs. If you found this tip helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe. Help us grow this channel. Thank you again for visiting Gig Masters, how to get and keep more gigs.